Hello, friends. How are you today? Wow, there has been amazing energy on the Schumann resonance, and I thought that it would be super fun today to track the waves and look at them with you and see what we can figure out about the meaning here. And after that, we'll talk a little bit about energy, inspired energy. Okay, so what has happened in the last 3 days? Whoa, it's just been wave after wave after wave. And one of the ways that we could look at this chart today is, there's a little emergency vehicle going by. Okay, so one of the ways, that's weird that happened right then. Okay, so it's urgent, okay? There's some urgency here. Okay, so is to look at it as a heartbeat. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, right? And the Schumann resonance has been called the heartbeat of the earth, but another way to look at it is as the heartbeat of humanity. Because the natural frequency of the earth is at 7.83. That's right there. What else is all this stuff? Now, coincidentally, the Schumann resonance is a non-physical energy, and coincidentally, it's in the air all around us at the same hertz range as our human brain waves. Here's from 0 to 40 hertz, okay? But I also want you to think about this. It's an electromagnetic energy, and the human heart emits the strongest EM field, electromagnetic field in the body. And there are, 7-8 billion of our EM fields emitting ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom every moment of every day. So something to think about as we look at this chart and think about what could the human influences on this chart be. And surely lightning is involved in creating this energy. What I would suggest to you, as I've talked about in the live stream, I'll link that below because I talk about this in more detail there. The first live stream that I did. I think that the earth, the human, and the sun, the solar system, but we are a system. And so if you look at the human living on earth, so I'm in an energy field living on earth, which has an energy field pounding my feet on the ground. I am the earth, okay? Because my human body is made of everything that's from the earth, powered by God, right? The divine within me. And everything that I take in, I believe from the earth is powered by God, right? Because the Creator made earth, right? That's the whole story of Genesis. So anyway, you can see that I combine a spiritual and a science-oriented approach, okay? I put them together because, boy, there's a whole lot of meaning, isn't there, when we do that? Okay, so, but as I was saying, I think it's a system. And so humans, the air, the earth, the sky, lightning, I think that all of this it's like an information system of energy, and we both contribute to that. We transmit out and we receive inward, okay? So it's reception and transmission. And the Schumann, one could see it as a TV screen of human activity, like what's on our minds. Electromagnetic impulses that are crafted into by virtue of, by virtue of creation itself, right? Because all of this comes together and then it's like perfect in how images can be created that actually have meaning in the human world. And so anyway, I want to stay focused. So let's stay focused on this chart before I go, into more theory here. But I just wanted to give you a background because I think some people might be new, because this is a big deal today, right? This is a big energy, and a lot of people are focused on it. Now, I talked about this energy in the last video, so I'll link that, where we talked about the white buffalo calf woman and the spiritual meaning of that. And now we're going to talk about this image and this image here, because it's like each heartbeat, right? Ba-boom, ba-boom. In each heartbeat, a new scene unfolds. Oh, it's so incredible. Now, if my work resonates with you, could you please share this video? A lot of you have been doing that, and it really does help me. I'm also, I'll talk about, I'm going to talk about this more in I'm going to do a little chat video where we just talk. But I want to expand my presence a little bit, because I'm feeling, like I haven't done that, and I really need to do that. So that at any rate, if you could like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening. And here's the other thing I want to say. Some of you have been, sending me over the months. There are people who have been sending me donations, and I really, really appreciate it. It just wows me, and I'm so grateful that you guys do that. Thank you so much. It really means a lot, and it actually really helps me. So thank you so much. Okay, let's get into the meaning of this. And what I want to do is let's track the waves, okay? So first what I want to do is I'm going to talk about these two images, okay? Because I talked about this one on the last video, and then we're going to look at the black charts behind the frequency, amplitude, and quality, and I'm going to show you some cool stuff. Okay, so this right here reminds me of the lens image. You can see this circular, okay? I'm going to move this in a second. But you can see the circular image here, and then it comes down like a mirror, like a mirror here with a handle, okay? Just like the lens from a couple videos ago. I'll link those below too. I did 2 videos on the lens. One was a yak video where we answered questions about it, and another one was just the overview. Now here, I talked about how this was a convex lens, and I'm going to talk as if you've seen that video. So what we talked about was how energy comes through the lens, and then it comes to a focal point, okay, in a convex lens. Well, the next step when you have that focal point is this, right? There's an amplification, right? Because it's so cool, isn't it? Because the energy comes to a focal point, which we think, like the way that I drew the charts and diagrams, it looks small. Okay, fine. I'll pull it up here. Here is the lens image from the other day. So you can see how similar today's image looks, and there's a couple of changes to it. But let me just show you this point I was making. Okay, so here was the convex lens, okay? Here's the point of focus. Now, there's something I didn't talk about in the video, the yak video, which this is from. See this big pink light that the point of focus is sitting within. Okay, so we think about the point of focus as small, right? Because it's a point, it's an intention, and in a linear way of thinking, that's equal to 1. However, we talked about 1 million human beings creating this, okay? So it's 1 point, but it is extraordinarily powerful in the spread of these energies, okay? In the clearness of them, okay? Because it's a point of common focus, in the strength of them, in the alignment, in the virality, in the passion, and so it's big. So now let's go back to today's chart. Okay, so here you get this big line that comes through. So here we have the energy on one side of the lens. It goes through the lens. It comes to a point of common focus. Okay, so here's a line. Maybe there's two things we're focused on. I don't know. 2 points of focus, and then that turns into this very, very large energy, because it's something big that's being expressed by a lot of people. Ooh. And, these lines that break up it's almost like a mirror as well, right? A mirror where when an image is smaller on one side and larger on the other, and that relates with looking through lenses as well. But you see these lines here, right, that appear to break up this lens image. It kind of gives you the idea of some energies not being completely aligned with this process, or of trying to interrupt it. And that also shows up down here. Okay, and I thought that this was interesting. These little squiggly forms down here. They're very geometric, but in a kind of rectangular way. It almost looks like alien writing or something like that. So what I see this as is the influence of the parasite or lower forces, okay? Chaotic energies that are not aligned with people coming together in a God-connected way, right? Where we're all connected with our inner divinity, and we're all waking up and we're all looking at each other like, oh, wow, this is a great way to live. Like, this is a great way to be. And I'm following my impulse, and suddenly we're all kind of boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. We're starting to move in a new direction. So I talked about on the video with the Buffalo Calf woman about spiritual hacking of our spiritual concepts, not in a technology-oriented way, but through emotions like guilt, shame, and even, honestly, even compassion. Because compassion, although I'm a big compassion advocate, okay, what I see as the elevation of compassion is unconditional love. Because what compassion asks us to do is to go down to where another person is at and be at that frequency level with them, okay? And I don't want to do that anymore, okay? Because it becomes heartbreaking, right? After a while, you have to clear yourself of you go low into dense energies. You imbue yourself with them. You meet people there. You attempt to lift them up. This is a actual spiritual hack. Okay, it used to be what people did as light workers, and I think that we're evolving this. Okay, and there was a time when this made a lot of sense because of where the external energies were at. It kind of almost had to be done that way. It was like an infiltration of the light. Just like now we're having an infiltration in our more expanded state of chaos, of not just chaos, but of an intent to direct us away from our divine connection. Okay, and that's what I see this ladder as. It's very, very similar to the genetic karyotype images that have been showing up, and I have talked about those on recent videos, to the idea of altering humans at a very basic level, which personally I'm not in agreement with. I'm in agreement with being a human as God designed me, period. That's it. Just God's influence. The Most High, the creator of the universe, right? My soul, keeping my human body as a temple of the soul, the way I was designed in perfection, in alignment with my divine blueprint. Okay, so I'm not in alignment with this stuff here. That's just me personally. But what this is I think these are, as people become kind of newly rolling out, right? We're newly rolling out in this really much more connected way with the divine within. And there's clear attempts to direct us. And so what I want to say is think about what you're engaging in and think about what's being said to you. And I talked about the compassion situation because it means kind of with sympathy, where you put yourself down at a lower. So do I need to keep going down to a lower density, then back up, down to a lower density, then back up to interact with people? No, I don't. And I'm going to tell you the new way to do this. The new way to do this is to just embody unconditional love and be present the way that Jesus does, okay? And the reason that I know that Jesus does it this way, besides, growing up with all the Bible stories, is because I saw him do it to me, okay? I saw him treat me this way. And that is how I learned this, okay? So when you are in that God-connected place, right, then you can receive teachings from that, from within. So I'm going to tell you a quick story here. Okay, I'm laughing because I remember what it was like and how I got touched when I was in this state. Okay, so one day I was in the grocery store, okay, and there was little kids around me and they were asking me questions, and I just was kind of at my wit's end in terms of I was tired. I was generally annoyed. There was a lot of other things going on, and I just didn't feel like giving, okay? I just didn't feel like I wanted to be kind, okay? I mean, just, I think we all get into these places, okay? And so I was in the grocery store, and I was looking at the vegetables, and one of the kids looked up to me and asked me a question about something, and I answered it. And when I answered it, I was taking a shortcut. I was not telling the truth. I was, it's not that I was lying, but I wasn't at my best. Okay, I wasn't in integrity with the truth of who I am, and I knew it. All right, I knew it, and I was just like, I don't care. I'm taking a shortcut. I'm just going to say this. So what happens? I turn around. I turn to my right, and there is a man standing just a few yards from me, and his energy is incredible. It's incredible and beautiful, and he looks like Jesus. Okay, he has the long hair, just about just past shoulder length. He has the beard. He has the eyes, and he was in jeans and a t-shirt, a white t-shirt, and he was leaning languidly, like I can't even tell you how amazing his energy was. And he was just leaning with his arms crossed, looking at me with unconditional love, okay? He looks at me. He said not a word. He looked at me with incredible love for me. And I'm telling you that it was Jesus in the grocery store. He appeared for me. It was almost like a vision, but he was there. Okay, he was there. He was leaning against the vegetable, one of the vegetable counters. He had his arms crossed, and he was looking at me with unconditional love. And in that moment, it's like I knew that he knew everything about me. Everything. There was nothing that I could hide. And he knew that I wasn't in my integrity in that moment. And he looked at me with love that said, it just communicated to me this love that acknowledged the truth of who I am. And it wasn't a criticism. It wasn't, beating me up. It wasn't saying you should have. It was simply this open and welcoming love to step into my integrity, to step into alignment with the truth of who I am. And when we're in that down place, it used to be that as a light worker, right, or as a, I'm going to just use the example of, what I was taught in church, as a Christian praying. Here I am, I bring myself down to her level, and then I reach out to her. Okay, that's compassion, how it's been done in the lower densities. But what Jesus showed me in the grocery store was like this, okay? He held a state of unconditional love. His heart light shone. You can see the transformative butterflies here, okay? The light within me, okay? He showed me from outside myself the light that I had covered over. See how this sun is almost covered over here, right? Because she's got a block in front of her heart. What he showed me was that was within me, okay? And that I could uncover this and live again, love again, and be in perfect integrity with the truth of who I am, okay? With the truth of who I am, I could embody this as a living human being. I could embody my soul energy, okay? All right, so let's go back here. So this is what I'm talking about with the hacking. We can say no to that, okay? We can say no, and then we can live as the truth of who we are. Now, there's something really interesting that I want to show you about these waves. And I'm talking to you as if you've seen some of my other videos. So I introduced the concepts at the beginning, but now I'm speaking as if you've seen other videos, okay? So I'm just acknowledging that. But do you see the rainbow in here? Usually these waves of energy, let me see if I can up the colors really quick. What am I doing here? Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to really quickly. Do you see the rainbow colors here now? Do you see that? It's just, see that right there? Usually these waves of energy are white resonance, but the last 3 days, they are actually rainbow, okay? They are rainbow. And here you have the white in the center of the lens, but then you have the rainbow all around it, and in what's created when we all come together in that point of focus, okay? And I'm not saying that everybody has to come together and sing Kumbaya, okay? But I am saying that if you connect with the divinity within you, you become more than what you are as just a human being, right? Trying to make it in this world. When you co-create, right? What ends up happening is it turns into the rainbow, the light within you. You have access to richer light because you've combined with the divinity within. You have access to more insights, to more skills, to more than you ever could have thought possible. The light's not just white, it's rainbow within the white light. Okay? See that right there? It's rainbow. It's incredible. It's incredible. And when I see the energy come out of the planet, this is what I see. I see rainbow. So a lot of times what I'll do, and if you do prayer work or energy work, here's a suggestion for you. When I see something negative on the earth where I'm guided, okay, then I pray from the center of the earth, a straight line up. The energy comes straight out of Gaia, out of her heart, where she, the planet, the Mother Earth, is connected with the Creator, okay? And it comes straight right out of the planet, and it comes straight up through, and I send that light through cell phone towers, and I send that light through, you could send it through waves in the sky that you think are from whatever they are from. I send it through areas that appear depressed, okay? I pray for that light to come up through, I've been outside company headquarters. I was I'm not going to say where I did that. Okay. But if you do it in alignment with, now here's the key. You do it when you are guided by the divinity within you. When you pray, when you're guided, when you're at 0 point, when you're in meditation, and the impulse from your soul, from your conscience, comes up and says, "This is what is in highest good to do." You do it invoking the highest good, and the reason that I do this invoking the highest good is for the following reasons. I do it invoking the highest good because if I, as a human being, am making a mistake, I want God to be in charge. That's why. Okay. And then I don't have to worry about human error, right? So if I'm guided to pray the rainbow light from the heart of Mother Earth up through the earth, coming through a cell phone tower, coming through company headquarters, coming through some technology that I see, coming through the electric wires, coming through the phone, coming through Wi-Fi, coming into the sky and the patterns. Okay, if I'm guided to do that, I want it to be in alignment with the highest good, because according to God's will, the Most High, the Creator of the universe, which I don't know, I only know that I was impulsed to do something. Okay, and then I ask that this rainbow light be poured through. Okay, let me just do this one. I'm gonna leave out the hacked part here. Okay. I ask that it be poured through the environment, straight from the exact center. You just go straight through the earth and bring it up. And what happens is it bubbles up, and then I call in the angels and I ask them to take away any energy that's not in the highest good. I call in Archangel Michael and his legions of the highest light, the angels of the highest light. Take away any energy that's not in alignment with the highest good. Okay? And this is how the world changes, right? One of the ways. It changes when I decide to take personal responsibility for something around me. And you can pray a blessing, right? You can bubble up this light as a blessing, if you're guided to do it, to the land, to your home, to you personally, okay? In alignment with the highest good. All right, anyway. So I guess I just wanted to make some suggestions here of things that you could do, right, with this. Okay, now next thing here, what I saw here in the next heartbeat is, and this is why I've gone through, like, this is, energy work you can do. This is how this works. This is how these concepts work, these energy concepts works, so that you can have an understanding, because this is what I see here. I see all of these people. I just see, here's all the heads, here's all the long bodies, they're all walking forward together. It goes perfectly with the concept of all these people coming together with focused intent. Now, just being connected with the divinity within is part of that. And then you act as you're guided. We don't have to all be robots doing the same thing, right? You act as God guides you, because each of us has our own individual and unique talents. Okay, and the message that came through here, it was so beautiful. So it was a real message, like, of divinity backing humanity. Here's the focused intent, the connection with the divine, and the choice to allow that to be interrupted, the choice to allow that to be hacked, right here, or not. And there we all are. There's humanity walking forward, okay? Walking forward into the new era, walking forward at the start of 20-year cycles, 40-year cycles. An 800-year cycle has started as of April. I can't remember if it was the 11th or I think it was the 11th. Okay, now, I said we would track the energy of the wave, so let's go and do that. But let me just add that that there's a line here, right? So there is a choice point. There's a choice point of, the Creator gifts us free will. We can go with the hacked concepts and live those, and that is perfectly valid. It's not invalid, because the choice of the soul is valid. Every person around me is powered by God, just like I am, is powered by the soul within them, just like I am. Who am I to say that any of their choices are not in alignment with what I think is the right thing to do. Nope, not going to go there. I'm not going to go into judging what someone's soul is guiding them to do. Okay, that's perfectly valid for them. And that's why I no longer red pill. Although I appreciate that there's a lot of information out there that I can choose to access, read, and educate myself. Okay, I appreciate that. But I don't go pushing stuff on people anymore unless they come to me. Okay, and that's how I run my channel as well. I invite those who are resonant to, in spirit, I do that invitation. I invite those who are resonant with my work, in alignment with the highest good, in alignment with me walking my soul path in perfection, in alignment with unconditional love. In alignment with the highest outcomes, for us to be together, hang out, do this, and talk. Okay, so now next thing is I wanted to just show you, I marked where the waves were on this frequency chart, and these black charts are the components of the resonances, or some number of the components. Okay, so basically this is what I wanted to show you. This is the tracking. Okay, so what is going on behind the scene in the waves? Well, okay, so we can look here at white. As the wave began, really no change, okay? But there's a shift as the wave ends. Look at yellow. Okay, what is going on as the wave begins? It drops off a cliff. And actually, I got to tell you something. I just want to show you something. See how the frequencies here go from 7 to 8? So these go from low to high. Well, the frequencies here go from high to low. So it's the opposite. So when I say that the frequencies here dropped off a cliff, here on this chart, that would be a rise, okay? So I don't want to get confuse anyone here, but I saw a comment under the Schumann bot's Twitter, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and someone was saying that all the charts generally work the same. That is true with the exception of the frequency chart. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, so now let's move on here. So here's red. The wave is approaching. What happens? It not only drops off a cliff, it shifts the vertical pattern of its movements. Okay, and then when the wave ends, again, dramatic rise up. They all dramatically rose up. Okay, here's the green. It's moving along, and what happens? There's a dramatic drop. So what do I have to say about this here? And if we look further, okay, past the rest period before the wave, all right, you see that there was starting to be a drop in white. There was starting to be a drop in yellow, but red was steady, green was steady. So these kinds of interesting patterns are the things that I look at before I put my conclusions together and make a video. And so I don't usually go into all the details because I find it boring to talk about the numbers for too long. But if you guys want me to talk about it more, you can let me know. But so where's the action occurring here? Okay, so the first wave, okay, dramatically affected the red and the green in terms of a pattern shift. The white and the yellow were more in alignment with the trend that happened when the wave occurred, the drop to the lower range of the frequencies, right, in each resonance. So what I'm saying here in tracking the wave and how the energies worked is that the red and the white, and not the white, the green, were the most affected by this wave. And that relates with the story of the white buffalo calf woman and what I said in that video. Okay, that's why I said some of those things, is because really it was like the white wave. Okay, that wave was of white resonance. It was like the divine was coming to support humanity and to support our deepest, densest. Okay, that was like the meeting a person in compassion at the lowest places. Here's the divine with unconditional love coming in, and supporting us, okay, in our deepest, densest places. So let me finish the story of Jesus in the grocery store. I just want to finish the story of Jesus in the grocery store because I told you the energetic result, but I didn't tell you this part. I realized the light could come through me, right? That I could align with my integrity in every moment. And not only that, but it was like Jesus was asking me to do that. He was telling me that I could do that and I would feel much better. Because when I turned around and saw Jesus looking at me like that, I did not feel very good about myself. Okay. I did not feel very good about myself. Now here's what happened. Okay, and this is why I said it's not really like it was a vision. It was like he was there. I turned back to the children, and then I turned around again to look at him, and he was gone. He was gone. And I looked all around. There was no human man walking around with a white t-shirt, longish hair, a Jesus-type beard and eyes, and wearing a white t-shirt and jeans. There was no guy. He was gone. It was like he was there, and then he was gone. And I think that happened to emphasize to me that it wasn't just a man, okay, that I was looking at. It was Jesus in the grocery store, and he came to give me a message that I could live in my integrity. I could bring the light of God through me. Right? I could bring the light of God through me. I could lift off what was holding me down. I could choose. I could make a conscious choice, right, to uncover the light within me. I could make a conscious choice to get myself together, as Jordan Peterson says. All right, so let's get back to the charts here. Okay, so now let's look at the second wave. This is the one with the lens and then the amplification, right? So here we go. We're buzzing along here. We're the white resonance. You know, now after this wave, the white resonance is making tall vertical peaks relative to itself, okay, because it has the most narrow resonance range. And then boom, falls right off a cliff. Yellow resonance, same, boom, falls right. Red, boom. Green, boom. Okay, but green had already kind of peaked and was coming off. It's like the green spiked up, actually, ahead of the wave, and it was the only resonance that did that. So what does that tell me? That this is for humanity, all right? And also, I'm cheating here because I know what the next chart says. So I'm gonna my goodness. Yeah. So anyway, I know that. This next chart, okay, I know that it has an amplitude of 77 again, which, let's face it, 7 is a spiritual number. We had 77 twice in the white resonance. That's pretty amazing. That is a very spiritual number. We had the red peak to 50. That was amazing. The green peak to 41. That's huge in green. The yellow peaked to 61, but I mean the green spiking all the way in amplitude and energy to 41, that is huge, okay? And that happens when we come to that point of focus. But you see here that the point of focus is all about the divine energies coming together, okay? And then here's the yellow. It's secondarily about that. And there's much less power in the red here during the lens and the pure green. Okay, so this is about the lens focusing, in my view, is about the divinity that we are really coming through us, okay, and coming into our human energy field, the fourth dimension around us, what's called the astral, but really starting to imbue that, okay, which then throws off what else is in the field that's not in alignment with our highest good. Because when our true essence comes through, all that stuff, there's no more room for it. Okay? And that's why once this process, is done, the green spikes so high to 41. Boy, it's just such a beautiful story, isn't it? And here's the other thing that I wanted to show you, the quality of the green spikes before this wave as well. And that's why I'm saying it's about the people connecting with the divine and then coming together here in this third wave as godly people, the Most High, the creator of the universe. And I'm not advocating any particular religion here. I'm saying the divinity comes through us, and then we choose to be in alignment with that and live in that way. That creates incredible changes in our human environment. Why? Because these changes happen in energy first. These images in the third wave formed into, see, it's straight up and down spikes, but it looks like a group, it looks like crowds of people. But we know that the white resonance is really powered up here. It's crowds of people, groups of people with a common intention, but more importantly, recognizing the power of the human being when in alignment with the divinity that we are, soul powered. Boom, boom, right? Boom. The divinity that you are is with you always. And if there's some healing that you need to do for yourself because you're in fear of what's going to happen, rather than being concerned about everybody else, maybe the fear is a sign that it's time to look at how much you trust your own relationship with the divine and how much you trust the Creator, God's love for humanity itself. Because, friends, miracles can happen, and they will.